Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the United States Military Academy. Today, the Cadet Basic Training Regiment of the United States Corps of Cadets will conduct an oath ceremony in honor of the class of 2019. While the cadets assemble for the review, we would like to give you a brief history of the actions you observe on the plane today. Military drill plays a fundamental role in the history of soldiering. Drill prepared troops for battle, and for the most part, drill procedures used in the days of old copied actual battlefield maneuvers. It was this realistic aspect of drill that made it such an important part of training. Even today, as new weapons call for new tactics, drill remains a necessary and useful training activity. Over 200 years ago, the problem of training an army already at war confronted the founders of our nation. Suffering from lack of organization, discipline, and teamwork, George Washington's Continental Army continually lost to superior British forces. Washington recognized the poor state of morale and hired a distinguished Prussian officer who specialized in the instruction of drill and discipline. Baron von Steuben arrived at Valley Forge in the winter of 1778 to face an army of several thousand half-starved, ragged men. He immediately set to work writing drill regulations for a company of 120 soldiers chosen from various units in the Continental Army. Discipline soon became the cornerstone of the military life for the soldiers of the model company as they learned to obey commands without hesitation. By mastering the art of drill through teamwork, the men developed a collective sense of pride in themselves and their unit. Observers watched the model company were astonished to see how quickly and orderly the troops formed and maneuvered into different battle formations. Later, General Washington distributed the members of the model company throughout the army to teach what they had been taught. Through this simple emphasis on drill, the effectiveness and efficiency of the Continental Army greatly improved. In 1779, to ensure continuity and uniformity, von Steuben wrote the American Army's first field manual, the regulation for the order and discipline of troops of the United States, commonly referred to as the Blue Book. You will see the cadets saluting throughout the parade on the command of "Present Arms." Since the earliest of times, men of arms have used some sort of salute as a means of greeting one another. In the age of chivalry, horse-mounted knights wore steel armor which completely covered the face and body. When two friendly knights met, they would each lift their visor with their right hand to expose their faces to each other and use their left hand to hold a horse's reins. Not only did this allow the knights to recognize each other, but it was also a deliberate movement of their sword hand away from their swords. Over time, this action became a significant gesture of friendship, camaraderie, and respect. The act of raising the right hand to the visor continued even after steel-bodied armor became obsolete with the invention of modern firearms. Today, the most commonly observed form of this exchange is the hand salute. It is given as a recognition of friendly greeting to a comrade in the honorable profession of arms. The United States Military Academy is pleased to count among its guests for today's ceremony the members of the United States Military Academy Admissions Committee and the Admissions Office. During the past year, admissions reviewed over 15,000 applications to select the 1,263 outstanding new cadets who will march before you today. Marching in today's ceremony are the international cadets enrolled in the four-year program at the United States Military Academy. Upon graduation, they will serve in the armed forces of their respective nations. There are currently 17 international cadets representing 16 different countries as a member of the class of 2019. For today's ceremony, spectators are reminded to stand and render appropriate courtesies for honors, our national anthem, and when the colors pass your position. At this time, it is appropriate for civilians to stand with the right hand placed over the heart. Spectators are reminded not to smoke or drink, refrain from loud talking, and turn off cellular phones during the ceremony. As a courtesy to others seated around you, kindly take all of your pictures from your seat. We also would like to remind everyone to please stay off the plane during and after the ceremony. Thank you. Currently assembled on the plane is the United States Military Academy Band and the band's field music group, the Hellcats. The presence of the band on the plane represents the significant role that the military musicians have performed throughout recorded history for signaling in camp and on the battlefield. The music that will be played as the new cadets march onto the plane is On Parade and Standard of St. George. The United States Military Academy Band is under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Esch with the drum major Sergeant First Class Nathan Eby. The bugle call just heard was attention. It is used to alert the cadet commanders to the start of the ceremony. Bugle calls were used in the military service of the United States as a direct result of the contact of the Continental Army with the European soldiers and armies during the Revolutionary period. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is the regimental commander, Cadet Captain Katie Holder from Stillwater, Minnesota. Her staff consists of the regimental executive officer, Cadet Captain Evan Burnham from Gaithersburg, Maryland. The regimental adjutant, Cadet Captain Afa Maza from Comstock Park, Michigan. The regimental intelligence officer, Cadet Captain Donnie Goff from Framingham, Massachusetts. The regimental operations officer, Cadet Captain Michael Otten from Hickory, North Carolina. The regimental logistics officer, Cadet Captain Natalie Riceweber from Edmond, Oklahoma. The regimental communications officer, Cadet Captain Bridget Ryan from Scotch Plains, New Jersey. And the regimental command sergeant major, Cadet Command Sergeant Major Josh Allen from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Our day marks the beginning of the close connection that the class of 2019 and the class of 1969 will forge over the next 4 years as a result of the West Point Association of Graduate 50-Year Affiliation Program. This program will enable these two classes to work together on at least one significant event during each year that the class of 2019 is here at West Point, culminating when distinguished members of the class of 1969 will present graduating members of the class of 2019 with their first set of second lieutenant bars on graduation day. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Military Academy presents the class of 2019. The official party for today's ceremony consists of Brigadier General John Thompson, Commandant of the United States Corps of Cadets, Class of 1986. Command Sergeant Major Don Ripplemeyer, Command Sergeant Major of the United States Corps of Cadets. Colonel Stephen Merkel, the Brigade Tactical Officer, Class of 1986. Master Sergeant Michael Ewing, Non-Commissioned Officer in Charge, Brigade Tactical Department. Lieutenant Colonel Kevin McInich, Commander, Cadet Basic Training Regiment, Class of 1994. And Sergeant First Class John Waterhouse, Command Sergeant Major, Cadet Basic Training Regiment. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for honors and the playing of our national anthem. Please feel free to sing along as it is played. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the 75th Commandant of the United States Corps of Cadets, Brigadier General John Thompson.
New cadets, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and bear true allegiance to the national government, that I will maintain and defend the sovereignty of the United States, paramount to any and all allegiance, sovereignty, or fealty I may owe to any state or country whatsoever, and that I will at all times obey the legal orders of my superior officers and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. New cadets, you may now lower your hands.
Ladies and gentlemen, the newest cadets at the United States Military Academy, the class of 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the official Army song, "The Army Goes Rolling Along." Please feel free to sing along with us as it is played. Please be seated. The march that will be played as the cadets depart is Washington Post. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Max Basalar. From Stamford, Connecticut, the first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Andrew Wiggins from Laurel, Mississippi. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Rebecca Sauter from Knoxville, Tennessee. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Andrew Dakota from Waterville Valley, New Hampshire. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Andrew Irwin from McMurray, Pennsylvania. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Andrew Alex De La Rosa from Madison, Wisconsin. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Brett Salona from Melrose, Massachusetts. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Tucker Favreau from Brunswick, Maine. Since the days of the American Revolution, flag bearers have been an important element in ceremonies. At the center of today's formation and bearing the national color is the United States Corps of Cadets Cadet Basic Training Color Guard, led by Cadet Sergeant Michael Ryan from Jacksonville, Florida. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Justice Ekstrom from Colorado Springs, Colorado. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Jamie Whitaker from Alexandria, Virginia. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain John Kennedy from Russellville, Missouri. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Sean Monsees from Bayside, New York. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Patrick Richardson from Cantrell, Illinois. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Bradley McKinsky from Salina, Kansas. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Colin Crane from Indianapolis, Indiana. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Darian Vaughn from Madison, New Hampshire. Ladies and gentlemen, we would ask that you please remain off the plane. In a few moments, the mess hall doors will be closed as a symbolic gesture to indicate your sons and daughters are now under the care and leadership of the cadet cadre and have entered the profession of arms. This concludes today's ceremony. Shuttle buses to all parking lots will be departing from the road directly across from Battle Monument until 8 o'clock tonight. Please feel free to take advantage of this service. We hope to see you back here at West Point on the 10th of August when the class of 2019 marches back from Camp Buckner, culminating the completion of cadet basic training. Thank you for attending and enjoy the rest of your evening.